Hello team, today's challenge is ISBN-13 Validator. This is the second ISBN Validator we've done, the first one being March 29th, according to my notes. So definitely check out that one as well. This one has a little bit simpler math, which should make it faster to do. It also has a couple extra conditions that we need to check on. So whereas before we had the potential for an X, and the X meant 10, right? If it was the first character in the ISBN 10, here we only have numbers and dashes. So we'll be getting rid of the dashes in a second and then checking to make sure that we have 13 characters that are numbers, that are digits. And then we'll be doing this bit of math where we take each of those numbers based on their index and multiply it by either 1 or 3, summing all that up and seeing if the result divides cleanly by 10. So 2 conditions, a little bit of math, and then we can see if it is true or false, right? That's kind of what we're going for today. So over here, my first step is to get rid of the dashes, okay? The dashes are the only thing that could potentially trip us up. So we're going to clear them out right away, which means that it looks like this. I'm going to call it ISBN, and we're going to go string.replace, and we're going to replace it with any sort of dash, come on, doing it right, dash globally, and any of those dashes that we find, we replace them with an empty string, okay? So very simple. If you wanted to, you could actually go replace, changing this just so that we have the example. You could go replace all and make this a quoted dash. So if you don't like the regular expression, you can change it to replace all and it will effectively do the same thing, okay? I'm going to leave it here because I kind of like this form. It lets me grow into the thing, right? If I need to add or change anything about this, I feel like it's easier. So I like that. We're going to keep going. Now that we've gotten rid of the dashes, we can check if 1, we have 13 characters, and 2, we have only numbers, okay? So that looks like this. We take this if, and we check the ISBN.length, just like this, seeing if it is 13, right? Hopefully it is. And if number.isInteger, like this, ISBN, but ISBN is a string, so it's not going to be an integer. We need to force it to be an integer, okay? So the plus sign does that. If that is true, then we drop in here. But there's actually a slightly easier way. At least I think so. You let me know about this in the comments. I'm going to go and do this. So right here, I'm going to change this line to be a regular expression again. So another regular expression just like this, and it's going to be anything that starts or ends, okay? This means that this is the start of the string right here, the caret, and the dollar sign is the end of the string, okay? Now, everything in between is exactly what we want. So we're asking for a string that is exactly this shape. If we don't have the beginning and the end, then anything that we put in here could be anywhere inside of a string, okay? It could be anywhere, which means that it could still pass even though we have way more than 13 characters, okay? So how do we get the 13 numbers? Well, first off, we can use a number sign or the number selector, okay? Which means that now we're just getting from 0 to 9, and we can specify how many we want. Now, with plus, it's 0 or 1. With question mark, it's, with plus, it's 1 or more. With question mark, it's 0 or 1. With the star, it's 0 or any, right? But with curly brackets, we can actually specify a range. So we could do something like 3 to 5, right? So if it's 3, 4, or 5 numbers, then we would match, right? If we wanted 3 or more, we could just get rid of the 5, leaving the comma, and it would figure it out. In this case, we want an exact number, so we just put a single number in here. In this case, we put 13, so 2 digits, single number, right? We're a little confusion in the language there. But we can say we want exactly 13 digits. And the whole string should be exactly 13 digits. No more, no less, no extra stuff in there, right? It starts, it ends, it has numbers in between. That's exactly what we want, okay? So this test right here basically does what these are up here, okay? Now we aren't done because you can see the coloring is all wrong because we haven't added the actual dot test, okay? So dot test ISBN like this gets the job done, okay? At this point, all the coloring returns. You can see that this has gone blue, lots of stuff going on there. But this test here, right, it tests to make sure that we have 13 characters, which are digits, right? So a number of sorts, and we can carry on, okay? Inside of here, we do our sum. So we can just call it ISBN like this, sum, or even just sum, right? Pick your name. But we're going to take each individual character of the ISBN. So ISBN, just like this, and reduce, because I like that. Here's the accumulator, the current, and this time we need the index. The index is how we're going to get odd and even, okay? So we absolutely need that, which means that down here, we can set our initial value to 0 and start doing the math. We return, what do we return? Well, we're going to check if it is odd or even first. Index modulo 2, like this, making sure that it is 0. If it is, that is even. In this case, 0 modulo 2 is 0, so 0 is effectively even for us, okay? Depending on how you're taught math, that might not be true, but for this, it gets the job done. So we're going to carry on, and that looks like this. Accumulator plus the current times 1. Now, current is a string, right? We split up a string here, so this current is should be coerced to a number, okay? And anything times 1 is itself, so if you wanted to, you could get rid of that. I'm going to leave it just to remind us what we're doing here, okay? Copying it down, changing the 1 to a 3 and the question mark to a colon so that we have all of this, okay? Now we go through our second check, right? We need 2 checks. We need to make sure that we have the right kind of information. Now we need to make sure that the information divides cleanly by 10, okay? And that's what we're going to do here. So if ISBN sum modulo 10 equals 0, then return true. Return true. Apparently I cannot type for the life of me. There we go, return true. If any of these fail, then it is false, which means that this return string should actually be return false. And that does it. Again, if you wanted to get rid of this multiply, okay, just remember to coerce it. If you leave this off, now you're doing concatenation, right? It's going to turn it into a string. So you need this plus sign if you don't want that this multiplier, okay? But you can delete that. It still works. You can switch to this and get rid of this, sorry, and it still works. You can switch to this one and it still works, right? There's lots of flexibility in here depending on your style of coding, right? So backing this out so that we can do our final review, we started by cleaning out our data. There's a chance that we might get dashes, right? It should be numbers and dashes. That's what they're telling us. So getting rid of those dashes so that we can iterate over just the numbers makes sense to me. We do that right at the start, and then we check. We check if the number of digits is 13, and if we only have digits. And there's a couple ways to do that, right? We could do it this way where it's 2 separate checks, or we could do it as a single thing in a regular expression. Both are okay, right? There's no wrong there. If we pass through that conditional, then we do our math. We multiply by 1 or multiply by 3, depending on if it's odd or even, right? And we check that to see if it's cleanly divisible by 10, okay? If it is, then in theory, it is true, right? And if it's not, then it is false, right? That's the whole thing. So a little bit of extra work today in these conditionals compared to the originals, the ISBN 10 solution, but it really gets the job done, and I like it. So here we are. Okay. I guess the question is, did you like it? What parts did you like about it? Did you find a different way? Again, not every solution, just hopefully one good solution. If you did find something different and you want to share it, hit me up in those comments. Let me know all that good stuff. Otherwise, today this has been ISBN 13 Validator, and I will see you tomorrow.